Welcome back to Coaching Conversations. I'm Maria Sabio.
And I'm Lourdes Laifer.
So today we're sharing from our soon-to-be released book, The Path to Resilience, Small Steps to an Unshakable You. And it's a modern interpretation of ancient Stoic wisdom. One quote, one interpretation, and one takeaway that you can actually use today as a daily practice. And the more you return to it, the more it returns you to your center.
Let's begin with today's quote. What hurts you isn't what's happening around you or what other people do. It's what you decide to believe about it. Keep your mind steady and you stay unshaken.
Now, that quote is the ultimate act of self-empowerment, and it's where we're focusing our entire conversation today. It's called the dichotomy of control.
Yes, we've all been there. A coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment, or the traffic makes you late, or maybe the market takes a dive. In that moment, we feel hijacked. We feel small. We operate under the belief that the external event, the traffic, the comment, the market, that they have power to wreck us.
And that's the fundamental lie we have to really dismantle. The true harm really originates not from those, external factors, the things going on around us, which are really, they're neutral inputs, but from our internal interpretation of them, we create this or feel this chaos. And your peace isn't contingent on the flawless operating conditions or the inner guidance system of other people. Your vulnerability, it lies squarely in your internal labeling, the parts of your mind that assign whether something is good or bad to whatever's happening to us, these really neutral inputs.
When you accept that you can't control the weather, the rock you're climbing, or the market, you free up massive amounts of mental energy. Think about someone like the free soloist climber Alex Honnold. In the most life or death scenarios, he can't control a muscle spasm, a sudden gust of wind, or the rock that he's climbing. His discipline is in the extreme application of this principle. He maintains absolute, unshakable control over his preparation, his mental state, and his focus on the immediate, precise action. He controls his judgment when everything else is in chaos.
Yeah, and one of my favorite actors, Keanu Reeves, he's lived with a lot of external chaos. He's really navigated through intense personal tragedies and the unrelenting, dehumanizing scrutiny of some of the media attention that he constantly gets. But he consistently models detachment from fame's trappings, choosing to define himself by his personal kindness and his actions, the things he can actually control, rather than letting those external betrayals or the gossip or the fame define his life. He really refuses to give those external events permission to wreck his character and his moral compass.
And even on a philosophical level, Mark Manson's work, particularly the subtle art of not giving an F, is a modern manual on this. He focuses entirely on choosing what to care about, internal valuation, and discarding the endless list of external metrics society pressures us to prioritize. He tells us that our freedom begins when we stop allowing things we can't control to hijack the things we can.
Yeah, and the power of this principle of maintaining inner control when the external world is in some cases collapsing, is never more visible than in the moments of public crises. The former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, following the horrific 2019 Christchurch mosque shootings.
Yes, this was an event of ultimate external evil and loss. It was a national trauma entirely outside of any leader's control. A natural common response would have been anger, fear, and getting drawn into the immediate political division or the terrorists' hateful rhetoric.
Yeah, but Arden, she chose a different path. She focused entirely on the few things that she could control in that moment, like her response, her empathy, and really her nation's internal narrative. And she actually refused to name the terrorist. She demonstrated incredible emotional resilience and clarity under a lot of pressure, making a clear, conscious choice to define the national response as one of decisive action, unity, and profound, visible empathy.
Yeah, her actions, the way she dressed, the way she spoke, the way she immediately instituted gun law changes were all controlled actions designed to manage the national grief and maintain the country's values. She didn't let the external horror of the event compromise her internal guidance system or provoke an irrational response. She shifted the focus from the act of violence to the act of choosing to be unshaken.
Yes. And, this is the ultimate takeaway for your daily life. What happens to you, whether it's an online criticism, a job loss, or a negative feedback on a project, it's not personal. It happens to everyone, good or bad. These events they're not moral judgments from the universe. They're simply part of the universal process.
Your body might signal distress, your mind might panic, but your true strength comes from your ability to choose your judgment, to reframe your perceptions, and to maintain an unshakable inner calm. The world doesn't get to write your story, your beliefs do. And nothing has the power to wreck you unless you give it permission.
Yeah. So the next time that you feel that external pressure, a distraction, an argument, or a fear, pause, stop, and ask yourself, is this in my sphere of control or influence? If the answer is no, reframe it. If the answer is yes, then take the smallest, most rational step forward.
That's your thought for the week. Don't let it stay just a quote. Let it challenge you, let it shape you. Try it out in real life and see how it changes the way you think and the way you show up. We'll be back next week with another reading from our soon to be released book, The Daily Path to Resilience: Small Steps to an Unshakable You.